Oh boy, here we go. Typically, now I wouldn't even do a video on one of these turds, but this is the top of the heap. And what I mean by top of the heap, it's not still like what I would consider a great radio by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely built pretty decent and a lot better than 90% of these turds that I see on the market. Now the reason why I don't like these is because normally they try to resemble an antique radio. They're put together with hot glued and cardboard, and they're just overall crap. This particular piece of crap, though, however, is actually pretty decent, and it's decent to the point that I actually might keep it and I might just put it in the bird room and stuff like that, because I do play CDs for them so they can try to learn some new words and stuff like that. And also sometimes I'll just keep the radio on when I'm gone to work or whatever. So I might actually put this one there, but it's actually built pretty decent, and now I kind of can understand why these actually got a resale value to them, because I was actually shocked on what they typically go for on eBay and stuff like that. And they're going on eBay for $200 plus. I even seen them going for as much as $400 now. They're definitely not worth that price, but maybe you get it for $200 or so. It might be, because it does have the CD burner and stuff like that, and it does got a auxiliary input even in the rear too, which we'll show you later. But overall, it's not badly built, and I'll go and show you why people are paying $200 plus for it, and why I'm actually probably going to end up keeping it. So one of the first things you'll notice there right off the bat is it does have a CD recorder. Right on top of that, as you can see, it also does have for record level. So not only that too, you can also adjust your record level and stuff like that. Now I would not use this to actually transfer LPs or cassettes over, because the record player and the cassette that they actually put on there are not good. Made for cassettes, okay, but definitely not for LP, because it's still the plastic piece of crap. And I'll show you that in a minute too as well. But let's go and turn it on. And there you go. And that's the other thing I like. I actually do like the fact that that tuning dial lights up in nice blue and stuff like that. Now it doesn't actually have a digital tuner or anything like that. It's just a basic analog tuner. And I'm gonna go and turn this down just so I don't get no copyright strikes. But we're all there. But that's one thing I don't know why. Why would you put a tuning light there, but then as your tuning doesn't actually change or anything like that? Kind of gimmicky. It's got a remote sensor right there, so it does have, I guess you could get a remote control too as well. I'm not sure what you can control, probably just the CD player and stuff like that, and that's it. But there you go. And I'm going to actually show you something too, which is also equally impressive, because typically they do not work. So come on. There you go. And you see something that's pretty amazing, because I have yet to come across one of these where the CD player actually works. And this is not just a CD player, it's actually a CD recorder, so that's probably why it's probably a higher quality CD transport that they put in this thing, because they had to. But there you go, and it does work. I actually played a few CDs on this already, and it works quite well. I haven't had a problem with it. And the thing that's amazing about it is it does actually sound pretty good too, because it's using two 3.5 watt full range speakers inside it. And I thought it was going to sound tinny and stuff like the other one does, but it actually has some bass to it, and it sounds pretty decent, because in the back they actually have it ported through the holes in the back, which I'll show you in a minute. But let me go and show you the rest of it. You can see that those are the speakers right there as a speaker, because it's just a full range speaker. And then there's the other side. And then here you go too on the top. So now another thing that I do like about that they upgraded on these is it does have actually a metal pretty much latch on it. So when you actually latch it open, and you can latch it closed, you know what I mean? Which is pretty nice. Got the spot for your 45 adapter right there. Here's a tape deck, and the tape deck is not that horrible piece of junk that they normally put on the side, because normally you see it cut on the side where they put a tape transport, and it actually got, an okay boombox type style cassette deck. But the fact that it's a step up compared to what I see on a lot of these. It's not that bad. Now, it is only a player. It does not record, because what they expect you to do is load the tape in there and then use the inbuilt CD recorder to actually record and transfer stuff from the tape to the CD recorder. And you know something, that might actually be useful if it's a low quality cassette, you know, and stuff like that, and you just want to transfer it over to CD or whatever, or if you got, like, you know, dictations and stuff like that on a cassette. That would actually work for that, but I wouldn't use it for high-end purposes or anything like that. Now, the turntable, I gotta tell you what, just still a typical turret that you see on most of them, but even then, it's a step up. Like, for example, they put rubber bumpers on this plastic pattern there, so it keeps the vibration down and stuff like that. So that's a nice touch to it, but it still used the cheap crap tone arm and stuff like that, with ceramic cartridge and so forth. So that's not really much of stuff. Now, it does have auto return. Let me go and see if it works. And normally you'll go to end, and I'll just let it do its thing there, and then I'll go and return the control, and it'll automatically stop. And that all works. And the turntable does work as well too, and the actual needle itself is still there too. So it's all fully functional. But what I am quite impressed with, shockingly enough, is the overall build quality, which would be shocking to say on one of these, because that's normally the last thing I'm impressed with on these. But you can see there, they actually put an L bracket to reinforce the actual things all around this, not just there too. They also got metal shielding certain stuff and everything else. So they really did a step up on the build quality on these, because normally you just got these hinges right here, which is just screwed into the wood, and over time those just come loose and it rips out the back and stuff like, because they're just really cheaply made. But this one here, what they did was they put a you know, big head screw on one side, and it goes straight through the wood, and on the other side it's a nut that actually holds this whole thing in place, so that's not gonna happen. And then the fact that each side and on the bottom too as well, it's reinforced with those brackets there, will keep the whole cabinet together very nicely. So this is actually pretty decently built. And then there you go, you got for your tape and phono. And then for tape, I'm not sure what the normal and high is for, but it's there. And then of course that's just your input right there too. So let's go ahead and flip this thing around. I'll show you the back side of it. We're just gonna do this as one video instead of cutting like I typically do. And then here's your back side, and you can see there, even the back's pretty built. And then there you go, there's the bolts, and then there's the nuts that go through one side there. So, you know, attention to detail there, and I like that. And the fact that too, this is separate. You can see it even gets a separate piece of deck or the wood right there too as well that goes in there. And then you got your two screws probably to release the whole thing up. And then what's a nice touch about it, it does have auxiliary input on it. Here's your cord right there, and then there's the model number and specs, and this is a GF-450K7, and it's a CD record system, I guess is how they advertise it, or the name. And then there's the porting for the speaker, which you never see on these, and they actually ported each of the full range drivers out through the back, and that's probably explains why the sound quality is actually pretty decent on this. Here's well, you can't really see inside there. Now, if you want me to go ahead and actually tear this thing down and stuff like that and give you a look in the inside, I can do that. You know, just leave a comment below and I'll go and take the time and I'll show you what's inside it. So this concludes the video for now. This is an overview of what I call top of the heap. So I went ahead and figured I'll go and remove the back cover so I can give you at least a sneak peek of what's inside. But unfortunately you can't really see much because everything's actually pretty well shielded, as they got actually shielding in the front where the preamp is, which I'm shocked. And they actually got, you know, these porting going all the way back, just not like a hole through the back of the case. It's really well built for what it is, I can say. Here's the transformer, and they're using a decent sized transformer for there. And as far as the heads, is using big head screws on the bottom with a big washer, and on the top nuts, so that way the transformer don't just rip out of the wood, which is good. It works. And then there's the power supply section. You can see there, pretty nice. It has a dedicated power, so you can see one's probably going to, you know, preamp, the other for the tape player and turntable and stuff like that, and probably for the CD burner. And you can see in the front where you can see those screws right there, it's kind of where the shielding is in the front and stuff. So they really did a nice job on this particular one. I'm actually quite impressed for what it is. There's the actual wooden box there where they actually ported for the speakers for the full range driver that they're actually using. You did it on each of the sides there. And then they even went as far too, which I'm actually quite surprised, because normally you don't see it. Usually, like on most of these, if you lift the turntable off, you can get it and see the whole inside guts of this thing. But on this one, that's why I said I would have to do a complete teardown of it, and it's going to be really extensive because the way it's put together, it just got, you know, everything separated and layered in there. But here you go, you can remove that there. You can see where they actually put the cutout so the wire goes in, it's just not smashed in there and stuff like that. And everything's kind of separated pretty much. So I mean, really nice attention to detail on this particular one. So if you do want to see a complete teardown of it, just let me know in the comments. If I get enough, you know, interest in it, I'll probably actually do it. So I went ahead and removed the 4 screws for the tape deck, so that way I can show you pretty much what's inside there at least. So you just go ahead here, you lift this up here, and then you gotta maneuver it around there. And there you go. And see? So I said attention to detail on this one. They actually got a copper shield right there. And you can see it's just your typical tape that you find in most boom boxes and stuff like that. Really cheap, nothing special, but well, attention to detail. At least they put a shield on there to keep hum down and stuff. And you can see a little bit of inside there too. But like I said, everything's separated. That's why it would be extremely hard to actually do a full teardown on one of these. But there you go, pretty much. And originally I thought that the tuner light was just a gimmick pretty much, but it actually does work, but in AM. So when you're tuning, you can see there when it's tuned in, and if you go out of tune, then there you go. Kind of curious it does it on the too. Let's just go to. No, so it only works in AM pretty much, but there you go. So a tuner light does actually do something.
You know, we don't hunt people, we go for prank.
Yep, and there you go. So it does function.